Okay. Well, why don't we go ahead and get started? And I'd like to first off start by welcoming everyone to 2021. We made it here. It was quite the challenging 2020, as we all know. And of course, we're still dealing with many effects of the pandemic, both from a professional and a personal standpoint. But of course, I know everyone is working and doing their best to be able to, get back to maybe business as usual. And we hope that this, as we progress into 2021, that certainly happens. And as we've now returned into 2021, here we are returning to our weekly webinar series, what we traditionally call our Friday webinar series. But as you can see, this is Thursday. The reason due for that is schedule conflicts last week. We actually had to push off this meeting till this week, and we'll have a jam-packed week because tomorrow we'll be bringing another part of our Friday webinar series. And that topic, so if you haven't gotten the invite, you'll be seeing that soon. We invite you all to join us tomorrow as well. And that series is going to be talking about our new Medicare selling guide and system for 2021. Many things have been updated. We actually have a nice new guide, full kit that agents can take into homes or use virtually to do a full presentation to your Medicare prospects. So we'll be going over that tomorrow. So we welcome you out and welcome you back to our webinar series. My name is Jason McClellan with Insurance Advisors Direct. If I can, just real quickly, I want to make sure we've got everything going smoothly with video and audio. Can I get a quick show of hands if everyone can hear me? Okay, great. Thank you for that. Good to see some of those names up there. So anyways, let's get started. Now, as you know, if you've worked with Insurance Advisors Direct for some time, or you've attended some of our other webinar series, viewed some of our videos on YouTube, you know that as a full service FMO or field marketing organization, we work hard to do a lot more for you and your business than just bring you new products to contract with. Maybe we just take an occasional phone call or two to assist you with a problem. Certainly we do those things, and it's important that we continue to do those things, but we try to offer more. We know that you as agents, this being your business, you may have agents underneath you, you may have an agency, you may be an independent agent working solely by yourself. But at the end of the day, you are your business. And so we understand, because myself and pretty much all of our sales team and management team here has spent time working in the field, just like yourself, selling products, working for commissions, and going through some of the struggles and trials and problems that come from that type of a position, that type of career. And we know what it takes to be successful. We also travel the country when we can travel, but we travel the country and work with many other successful agents and agencies across the country, seeing how they're doing things, seeing what's working, understanding what's not working. And that way we can better guide you, both from a practical standpoint of what we've learned in our many years of experience, but also what we see others learning throughout their journey and their experience in their career. So again, we want to help you to understand more about how to properly build your business. We want you to understand you can come to us for help with marketing and branding and getting business building tips. I get calls from agents all the time who are maybe just looking at, as their business is growing, should they set up an LLC? How do they file that with their taxes? How do they appoint that with the state, with the companies? Sometimes we're literally having conversations with agents about how to properly establish their business so that they don't get caught in the future and create problems from either a business standpoint, a licensing standpoint, or even a tax standpoint. So, we are here to assist you in many different aspects of your business. And today we're going to talk about some more of those. And throughout our webinar series, you'll hear more about not just products, but other exciting business building practices related to sales, product, marketing, and a whole host of other items. We're also going to be doing a long video series where we're going to be interviewing some of our carriers. So you can see a live or a recorded interview about products. We're going to do interviews with agents and agencies in various parts of the country to talk about their success. So there's a lot that's coming and a lot in store for 2021 that we're excited about. And we appreciate you coming out to join us during this time to be a part of our first webinar series for 2021. So today, what we're going to talk about, as you can see from our theme, is plans and strategies for a successful 2021. Now, there's a lot that goes into planning for a successful annual campaign. And we're going to take off a few chunks, bite those off today, and talk to you about what those are and how to be better prepared. Because again, we understand that many of you, maybe if you're out there working, not so much in the corporate environment, but you're working for yourself, maybe this is something you haven't thought of. And if this is something you do on a regular, hey, congratulations, you're further ahead than most. But if this is something you need some tips and assistance with, that again is where Insurance Advisors Direct can help. So these 3 or 4 items that you see in front of you, we're going to talk on for a moment. Now, the good thing about these is I know they might be a little bit difficult to read on your screen, but we are going to be emailing these forms to you immediately following the webinar. And then, of course, if you have any additional questions, have any needs, feel free to contact our office and we'd be happy to answer those. But first off, we have some of what we use even internally, and some of what these forms are used throughout other industries, other businesses, and other sales organizations. And these are some simple forms that we've found to be extremely helpful and we thought would be a benefit to you as our agents. Now, what we have in front of us are 3 forms, look fairly simple, but what they can accomplish is fairly tremendous. Now we have a quarterly, we have a monthly, and we have a weekly. Now running down the left-hand side, if you can't read it, at the top portion is goals, then projects, then marketing campaigns and events, and then recruiting calls and visits, or sales calls and visits in your case. Now, what's good to do and what many of us like to do is kind of throw everything out there. Kind of have a big storyboard where you throw all your ideas. Maybe it's your goals annually. You can go pretty far with this. You can have a pretty deep wish list of items that you put out there as goals. And then what we like to do is go, okay, now we understand you can't, eat the whole elephant at once. So what can you do about all of these wish list items, all of these great ideas and goals that you might have for 2021? Well, now we have to look at what is practical and what can you bite off in those smaller portions. So you might now take those and say, okay, well, due to the time of the year, due to the nature of my business and the products that I represent, whether it's Medicare products, under 65 health, ancillary products, there's some tips. We're just coming out of AEP and OEP. Maybe it's time to revisit these clients, new and existing, with ancillary products. Have you talked to your clients about dental vision, hospital indemnity, maybe cancer, critical illness, things of those nature, life insurance? We get a lot of calls about life insurance with the pandemic going on. So some of it's more time sensitive. And what those items do is they should be placed a little higher on your priority list. Those would want to fall much sooner in this year. And so maybe you set your goal is to get back to your clients to talk to them about these products, whether it be through a phone call, email, or some other form of promotion and communication. Now, once you have those goals that you might want to achieve on a, let's say, weekly basis, and depending on how you do your business and somewhat your personality, you can drill down even to the day if you would like. But ultimately, what you can do with this is now create a structured plan. And this isn't to say that you aren't doing it well without a structured plan, or that any of us couldn't do pretty good. But ultimately, human nature is that we may forget about things. That just happens when you get busy. We may tend to procrastinate on certain items. We might just get busy and involved in working on incoming calls and needs and problems, and all of a sudden those consume us. And the saying goes is sometimes you get caught working in your business and not on your business. So what we want to do is encourage you to work on your business and the growth of that business. And here are some very easy and practical ways to do that. So if you have your goals, if you have your weekly projects and then your weekly campaigns, now you can keep yourself on target. So for example, if you had a goal of reaching out to 25 new prospects this week and getting back to 10 of your good clients this week, and it's Thursday and you haven't done those things, you now have that project slotted for that week. And if you want to be able to check that box, now you got to find some time. And you may have to push off other busy work. You might have to have a little longer work day or do something, because that is your goal to get done that week. And it's important to stay on task. So you now have a guide reminding you that needs to be done. And so these are good to keep up to date and keep regular, to help you with the different both problems, challenges you might face, as well as keeping you on task with some of the important things that will help you have a more successful 2021 and to help you more efficiently grow your business. So those are some tips and tricks with those forms and how you can use those. If you'd like to certainly discuss in more detail how you can best do that, we'd love to have those conversations with you further. The next form is just a one-page marketing plan. Now, this is maybe not from a larger, higher level standpoint of what you're going to do for your business, but this one-page marketing plan can become very handy when it comes to working through a specific project. You can see on the top, we've actually got 9 categories that you would want to think through. And that's another thing, is a lot of these force you to think about things you may not have, to prepare for things you may not have, because it's just not maybe your normal way of doing your business. So it does help push us into areas of maybe discomfort or push us out of our, normal routine, and makes you think. Now, along the sides, at the red, we have before the prospect, we have the yellow, which is during the lead, and then we have the green, which is after. So now they're your customer and what you do next with them. So really, if you take this 3 items, you can now start to create a strategy for how you work your marketing angle, how you build a marketing strategy with different marketing tactics, how you deploy, what happens when you now get some interest, you get some leads in the door. And then when you've successfully sold those, how do you nurture those clients? How do you turn those into future business? How do you turn that into referrals and a whole host of other things that can benefit you? So this is another great form. And actually, this form, I wish I had thought of it, but I have to give credit to the individual who wrote the book, The One-Page Marketing Plan. And I've talked about this before in some of our meetings, but I know many of you may not have seen those, or, it's always good to have a reminder. Great book, gives a lot of practical suggestions for how you can better market yourself as a salesperson. So again, very useful tool and something else that we will be sending to you. Moving on, we want to talk about some other important and valuable tools that can ultimately help you to more successfully navigate through 2021 and building your business. Oh, one quick item I'd like to mention, if I go prior to the CRM tools, there's something else you can do in addition to the marketing goals, marketing plan, and that is something that many of us do from a corporate standpoint, and it's what we call SWOT analysis. And you can look that up, it's SWOT. If you've never done it before, again, a very practical and good exercise. The SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And if you can sit down and be very honest with yourself, what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What are my opportunities? And what are my threats? That way you can also better prepare yourself for what you need to overcome, changes you might need to make, new things you might need to implement for the new year, and you can make those adjustments. You know, the goal is to take your strengths, expand upon those, take your weaknesses, become stronger in those areas, really build hard and fast on the opportunities, and then of course try and hedge yourself best against the threats. And if you do this on a consistent basis, maybe year after year, what you'll find is you start to move many of those items from what is a weakness into a strength, or what was a weakness into a new opportunity, and so forth and so on. But always be working on growing in those right areas. So a SWOT is another great thing that you might want to do with your business. So now moving into the CRM tools. Now those are customer relationship management tools. And we've talked about this before. Here's an example of some paid items, maybe a little more robust. There are some free items over on the right-hand side. I will pick out a couple here. The Radius one, I've actually had some of our agents tell me that they've had great success with it. They really like it. It's a low cost one, maybe in the $30 to $40 monthly range. And it does a lot of things that they need. We at our company, we actually use Zoho. That's maybe something a little more sophisticated. It does require ongoing programming, so you may not want to dive into that. But if you have a larger organization, that might be something you look at. But all of these, whether it's a very simple free version or a more robust paid version, can dramatically help you in growing your business and keeping on task. And when you've created your goals and projects, keeping you moving in the right direction on those goals and projects. Now, customer relationship management tools, essentially, if you think about it from a very simplified standpoint, ultimately, it's like having an Excel spreadsheet. You could be just as basic as that. So I will tell you, if you are an agent who just keeps all of your clients on an Excel spreadsheet, you actually have a form of a CRM in front of you. So these are some other ways that you can take that to the next level. Now, from an Excel spreadsheet standpoint, how you can use those, I used to use those in my practice, and I know many other agents used to. Sometimes what I would do is I would take my list of clients. They'd maybe be alphabetically or maybe by enrollment date. I'd have the product and just some basic information, maybe their email and their phone number. But then across the top, I would list what products I represented. Now back then I did Medicare supplements, I did long-term care, I did life insurance. And so I would go through and I would check the boxes of which plan they had purchased, the date. And then my goal is to go back and work and develop those clients and nurture those other products. And my goal was to get a checkbox in every box for every client. And as my product lines expanded, I, of course, built out my spreadsheet. So if you're using an Excel spreadsheet, that's something simple you can do. Here are some of the other items that can be helpful when you are using a CRM tool. So these can be beneficial for lead tracking. Now, if any of you have participated in our lead programs, you know that we use a couple lead carriers that also have a lead management tool. And that lead management tool is essentially just a CRM. Those are free of charge. You would have a login and password, And if used properly, you could make that your CRM, and there's no cost. You can keep your leads in there that come in, new, existing. You can upload your client list into it. So it can become an actually very beneficial, free of charge CRM. So CRMs are designed to do lead tracking, follow up with leads and clients, okay, commission tracking, cross-selling, acquisition costs, marketing management, client management, reporting, income tracking, lead performance. So all very important things if you're looking at growing your business. You know, if you're spending a lot of marketing dollars on leads, what leads are performing the best? What return are you getting for those? Is your cost per lead $10 or is it $50? What's your budget? How can you lower your acquisition costs? Does it cost you $100 per client? Can you drive that down? So there's a lot of key components that when you're talking about a business, especially businesses that you may have a smaller marketing budget, you want to maximize those dollars, and this CRM tool can help you do that. The other good thing is sometimes, again, we get pulled in 10, 15 different directions. That's just the reality of life and business. So these CRM tools, when you use them and when you set yourself follow-ups and appointments, maybe you have to follow up on an interview. Maybe you have to follow up on a quote that you ran. See, that goes into the CRM, and you can put a note for yourself to follow up on this day, this time. And that way you log into your CRM every morning and it says, hey, Jason, you've got these 5 calls to make. Now I know that I've got some important calls to make. I've got my notes. I've got my reasons for the follow-up. I go ahead, I make those calls. I can then report from there, and then I can go about the rest of my day. Now I might even build out projects in there. Maybe it's my goal to write up a letter to some of my clients, or call Insurance Advisors Direct and have them help me to create a marketing piece that I can send to my clients. You know, whatever it is, that can keep track of your projects, ultimately your goals, your phone calls, and keep you on task when it comes to working through your clients. The next platform, and as you can see, this has become more of a technology-driven world. We have to be familiar with these things. Now, if you're not familiar with these different technology platforms, we'd be happy to help. And we're trying to, again, give you some of the basics around these. But once you get into them, once you try them, they have made them fairly easy. You just have to get started. So beyond adding technology like a CRM, we would highly recommend adding some form of a marketing platform. That is a platform that you can send out emails essentially to your clients. You can schedule maybe letters to go out. You can do a whole host of things. I myself have used a number of these on this area. And the other nice thing is if you're not a skilled person when it comes to graphic design, you don't have to worry about it with many of these. They come with templates. You can just type in, here's my company name, here's my phone number. You know, you drop a couple pictures in there, type a little message to your client or to your prospect, and maybe you have 50 that you want to send out a certain notice to. You can schedule it, and these programs will automatically send those out. And ultimately what that does is that becomes another not only tool for you, but it lowers your costs, because think about it, before these existed, you'd have to have maybe an assistant, you'd have to have another agent, you'd have to have multiple people in your office that could do these things for you. Well, now you can concentrate on what you do best, growing your business, meeting with your prospects and clients, selling, and you can let these automated platforms do the rest of the heavy lifting for you. So they can really be a huge value. And companies, when they use these and they see other ways they can use these, they get much more sophisticated. You can now have essentially a whole team of people through these automations working for you and on your behalf, making you look like a much larger company, putting you in more places than you can be on your own. And obviously that in itself is going to help you reach more people and make more sales. For example, I was meeting with an agency owner maybe a week ago, and he was telling me that his team has spent a lot of time developing their CRM and their marketing platform like this. And what they do is they get leads, they work those leads, they send out notification to those leads that they'll be setting an appointment. They then make those phone calls. If they don't get a response, that system is automatically designed to send another note out to that individual, reminding them that they need to sit down and discuss their Medicare benefits. Then they'll make another phone call. Once they've become a client, they have another whole series of communications and outreach. And I believe he told me that it works out to where they are reaching out to their prospects and clients with an important message, with something of value, at least once a month. Now, could you imagine if it was just relying upon you sending stuff through the mail or picking up the phone and making a phone call? As your client list grows, that becomes unrealistic. That's not practical to, every week be calling 200 or 300 people just to tell them that you need to sit down and meet. So though the phone and personal communication is so important, see, these platforms can help to do that, but in a different automated fashion. And now you don't have to remember, because you're going to keep feeding prospects and leads into this system, but you've already got the process built. You've already got the announcements, the notifications, the emails built out, and the system just grabs those names, sends that out, and now you can maybe follow up on those that reply or show some interest. So now you're focusing your attention on the people that have a need, have some interest, and not just the masses that you're not quite sure. And again, that becomes very time consuming. So these are ways to be more practical about how you're growing your business. And there's many other utilizations that you can have. As a matter of fact, here are some of the other items in addition to maybe what I mentioned. You've got lead nurturing, lead generation, cross-selling, drip marketing. Again, by doing this, you're going to lower your costs, because if you take a lead, and we give out leads to agents all the time, and we get a lot of interesting responses to those leads, but ultimately that lead is just somebody to go talk to. Maybe they've shown some interest at some point. Well, they don't always buy, they don't always meet with you, but it doesn't mean that they're, a lost lead or cost. See, if you continue to communicate with them, maybe send out a notification once a month. Hey, I'm still here. Did you get your answers on your Medicare? Hey, we've got, some, it's Cancer Awareness Month. We'd like to chat with you. Are you familiar with who you have your cancer coverage through? So there's a whole host of things you can do, and you can set it up to where if they reply, it sends it to you. If they don't reply, then they get a second email with a different message. And if they don't reply to that, they get a third email. And you can build it out with rules that essentially does it all for you. You just have to do some of the upfront work. So very practical, important program to look into if you haven't already. In addition to that, we're going to stray a little bit away from the technology side. We could spend too many hours on that. I know most of us have gotten more comfortable with Zoom and other maybe virtual systems because of the 2020 year, but ultimately those, along with some of the other items we just mentioned, can be a huge value to your business. But the next is I'd like to chat a little bit about, again, ways to grow your business. Well, we have taken a hard look, and this was developed sometime into last year, but we get feedback from a lot of our agent partners that say, hey, I love the support, but there's other things I might need. And some of those are, translate to perks. And we do reward our agents that work with us, write business with us on a consistent basis. So essentially what we've done is created a few different perks levels to help you put dollars in your pocket so that you can continue to grow your business and not, take on that full financial burden. Now, some of them are items I've mentioned already. We have a whole marketing team you can contact if you need assistance building out flyers, emails, postcards. I think just this last week, we created 5 or 6 business cards for agents who just don't have that skill. No need to go hire someone. If you're contracted and work with us, we're more than happy to do that. So some of those items are automatic, but here are some of the more specific items. And some of these do require consistent business to be invited to these programs. But essentially, as you can see from this, we're putting money back in your pocket. We're building out marketing budgets for you that you can use. You can use it for whatever it is that's going to be practical and help you build your business. You want to do lead drops, you want to do community events, you want to do a nice little gift within the reasonable or allowable range. We'll help pay for those items. You submit the invoice. So there's a whole host of perks that you can qualify for. Now, if you're a contracted agent, we invite you just to go and qualify for level 1. Everyone's eligible. Within eligible level 1, you'll get AHIP reimbursement, AHIP and training and certification assistance, contracting bonuses, referral bonuses, and then we'll start generating lead co-op dollars for you as you start writing some business. In addition to these levels, we do have a lot of agents and agencies that say, hey, that's nice, and maybe this covers the majority of the agent population out there, but my needs are more specific to this, or I need that kind of support, and I do X amount within these product lines. That's great. We love to hear that, and we love to create a custom perks program for you. So don't think that these are the only programs that we offer, but you can see at level 4, for some of our agents, we up front at the beginning of the year deposit $5,000 into a marketing and lead management account for them. That's money they can use to continue to grow their business, to put into some of these other cost items. And as you can see, some of those cost items are far beyond just leads or some form of marketing. We help individuals pay for events, websites, which we'll talk about in a moment, E&O coverage, equipment at their offices, postage, travel expenses, office supplies. So there's actually a whole realm of business expenses that for some agencies, we help cover those costs. Now, if you go past these, one of the things that's becoming a little more popular is as agents choose to maybe retire, move on from an active role with their book of business. It's not on this page, but it's on the reverse side that we're not seeing. There's a transitionary level that you can fall into, where we'll actually work with you in helping to move your book of business, actually either acquiring that from you or helping you to maintain it while we take over some of the backroom responsibilities. And again, there's different formulas that we use to set that up. But if that's something that you're in a position to be doing, we would be open to having that conversation with you. So again, we want to reward you. We want to thank you for your business, your partnership, and we also want to see you grow your business. And so that's the point of this presentation. These are some of the items that we offer in doing that. One of the other items, kind of back to the technology front, is websites. Now, we have been preaching to agents for many years, if you don't have a website, go get a website. If you think about how you buy or who you work with or who you hire to do things for you, you probably will do a little bit of research. If it's not somebody you've been referred to, if it's not a family member or friend, you probably will type into Google their name, their company's name, and you're going to look for a website. Now, I'm shocked when I find businesses that still don't have a website. And the problem with that is not that they may not be good at their job, but when I type it in, if I don't see a website and I can't see who they are, if I can't learn about them, I don't hire them. And that might be the same case for you. You may not be hired, or before you even get to your presentation, you might be fired because you don't have a website. And it's such a simple thing. But what we've realized too, is we've been saying this for many years, and agents go, yeah, we need to get a website. You're right. And they don't. Why? Well, because again, that's not usually within our wheelhouse if we're a salesperson. And maybe if you're at an age where the technology can be a little more confusing, it's just not friendly I'm speaking from even my own experience, but my family members, my parents, this is stuff that they wouldn't know how to do. So what we decided to do for 2021 is we are going to make that much more simple for you. It's such an important part to your business, so we want to offer a new program, and that is that we have now 2 different agent website versions that we'll be offering. Now, we didn't stop there. We're going to offer not only the agent websites where you can pick which version you'd like. You'll go through a whole process with our web developer who's in-house. She'll be helping to build that site for you. It's a very simple site. It may only be a couple of pages long, but it's going to make you visible. It's going to show people who you are, what you offer, and allow them to contact you. You can work with different colors. You can add different products that you represent through Insurance Advisors Direct. And in addition to that, we know that just having a website isn't necessarily what finishes this. So the next thing you need to do is you need to host those websites. You need to pick a URL. We're going to be doing all of that for you to help you. So once the site's built, we'll be putting it on our hosting platform. We'll be helping you through the URL process so that you don't have to think about any of the technology side of things. You just now know that working with Insurance Advisors Direct, you have a website that's up, running, and that looks professional and makes you visible to the public who may be searching you out. Now, we can always help you to get more advanced with that, but we wanted to start with the basics and offer you this program. Now, how do you participate in this program? Well, of course, you have to be contracted working with Insurance Advisors Direct to even start having this conversation. For some of you who may be contracted, there may be a small hosting cost that we will have to pass along. But for some of you who might be doing business with us, again, due to those perks that we are offering, those costs will be absorbed. We would be paying for those costs to host and to maintain your website as long as you're in good standing with Insurance Advisors Direct. So again, if technology is the way we have to continue to grow our business, we want to make it practical and easy for you to participate with those programs and use them in your success. And also, what we are planning on doing is adding some virtual sales component to these websites. So at some point, you'll be able to host a meeting, have a face-to-face interview and sales presentation with those clients through Zoom or some other platform, make the full presentation that will be embedded into the website. And again, make your job easier, accommodate your clients, and accommodate the fact that you may not be able to sit in front of them face to face. So we're really excited about that. We hope you are. We hope it's something that you think can help your business and is something that's practical. We hope that all of these tips today have been practical and helpful for you, and that we've been able to give you some new ideas and some food for thought to making 2021 more successful. And with all of these goals down, with all of your projections, with your projects planned out, again, you can go to work. You can work smarter and harder and have a very successful 2021. And of course, we hope you do that with Insurance Advisors Direct, and hope you reach out to us and allow us to continue to help you grow in your business. So again, I want to thank everyone for joining us today. I believe that is the end of our presentation. Again, appreciate your attention. I hope that you were able to take away some new ideas. Looks like, do we have any questions, Kayla?
Yep, we have one question. Someone asked if there's the ability to get a commission cut on new agents that are referred.
Okay, I'm not quite sure how I understand that question. So we don't have the ability to get a commission cut on new agents we refer. So that question could be taken a couple of ways, and I'll try and answer all of those. The answer is yes, ultimately. So if you have referred an agent, there are some referral bonuses, but let's say you're referring an agent that you may also be working with, or that you would like to have in your hierarchy. Okay, so maybe you're building like a downline of agents or an agency, like starting your own agency, absolutely. Then yes, absolutely. We have both, and every product line is set up a little bit differently. So I'm not going to get into details here. We can talk offline about this, but absolutely, there are hierarchy levels with every product line. You can have the agents that you're bringing in or referring in, you can have them set up at a hierarchy level underneath of your hierarchy, without taking commissions away from them. You know, there are higher levels than street that you can then offer to those agents, keeping them at a street level, or maybe you're doing more for them. Maybe you're offering an agency environment. Maybe you're paying for their leads. Maybe you're doing a lot more for them, field training and so forth. In those instances, you would probably keep some of their commissions and pay out a little bit less to them than street. But that certainly is something that we offer. It's something that you can benefit from. What is the starting commission for Medicare sales? Well, again, we're not going to talk numbers on this forum, but certainly we pay top commissions. For Medicare Advantage, CMS has determined, of course, the maximum allowable commission to a writing agent. But if you're an agency, if you're creating a downline, there are opportunities to participate in higher levels of overwrite and admin fees due to that arrangement. If you're talking Medicare supplements have what they might deem as a street level commission. They may have some levels below that, some above that. And if you're creating a downline, you could qualify for some higher levels above street, and you would have multiple levels below you that you could offer. So hopefully that answers the anonymous question here about commissions. Do we have any other questions before we wrap up? Okay. Well, again, we appreciate you joining us today. We're excited we got to kick off our new 2021 and get restarted on our webinar series, and look forward to upcoming events, not only just based on our webinar series, but on product rollouts, new technology, new selling systems. We're going to have multiple video series coming out through 2021. So a lot of exciting things that we'll be offering you to as our partners. So we're excited for this year. We look forward to working with you. And if you have any other questions or have any other needs, please do not hesitate to reach out to the team at Insurance Advisors Direct. So thank you for coming out, and have a great rest of your day.